Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So this is going to be an experiment to see how much it costs me to make one of these guitars, one of these Klesh custom guitars. So in order to do that, we're going to be adding up the cost of all the raw materials, the hardware, and my time as well. So I'm going to be using a timer here, and throughout the construction process in this video, you'll see this in the background somewhere. I'm just, counting down time to see how long it takes me, how many man hours it actually costs to build one of these things. It's going to be a VK guitar. Actually, I'm building two of them. One of them is going to be for sale on kleshguitars.com, and you can buy it with Bitcoin because it's going to have a big Bitcoin logo on it. And the other one's going to be identical without the Bitcoin logo, and it's just going to be a flat black guitar. And I'm going to be giving that away to one of you guys that leave a comment down below. You have to be a subscriber, you have to hit the like button. You can be international, but you have to pay for shipping. Within the United States, it's free shipping. Also, watch for scammers. All the instructions and rules will be in the description. As far as the costs of this guitar, we're gonna be including the raw material cost, the hardware, like the electronics and everything. We're also gonna calculate what my hourly rate is gonna be. Yeah, I also have a little bit of template work to do. You can see right here, I have to cut this back a little bit. It's a little bit too far. I have to cut it back a little bit. So we'll be doing a small amount of template work. Template work, by the way, can take up to a week just for the templates alone, and we're not going to be counting that entire cost. But if you did, you can pretty much double whatever the hourly rate is that we figure out at the end of this video. There's going to be some maintenance for the machines, probably like changing sanding belts and using sandpaper, and of course the finish. That stuff is like a couple $100 a gallon. We'll figure all that out throughout the video towards the end of the video, but for now, let's get into some time lapses of the construction of these two guitars. Hope you guys enjoy it, and good luck. All right, guys, I am going to be doing a voiceover for a lot of this video, kind of explaining what I'm doing, because this entire video is pretty much time lapse. There are some parts where I do talk, so I'll just be quiet for that. But right here, I'm just cutting the ends off of my poplar board that I bought at the lumber yard. Just making sure there's no splits in the end. Here, I'm just laying out the bodies. I can get two bodies out of that one board. Cutting them into body blanks. There's my timer, 9 minutes in. And I got a splinter there. Thought I would film that. Right here, I'm just getting both sides of the body blank down to the minimum size, making them equal sizes. Making sure that they are nice and even, sanded flat on both sides. And my machine blew up there. You can see the sandpaper hanging out. 4 minutes into the build. And we had a little explosion here at the sander. So pretty much the little knife eye in there. I've had this problem before. Basically, I have to take everything apart and blow everything out, make sure there's no dust in there so that the little sensor works. That's what happened. The sensor didn't register and the sandpaper came off of the belt, off of the rollers there. Fun. All right, I finally got that thing fixed. We're at 39 minutes right now, and I'm writing down, we're not doing an exotic top, but they would normally cost, on average, about $200 per guitar. But we're not doing that, so we can cross that out. We use 10.5 board feet of poplar. That costs a total of about $37.50. And then the maple necks are $18 each, and that's $36. So while I was writing this up, I'm thinking, okay, so I want to know how much it costs to do each guitar. So I'm doing two at once right now. So whatever the cost is, we could just split it in half because they're both getting the same exact hardware and everything else, and wood. And since they're not getting tops, we can actually glue them together today. So these will go together pretty quickly, I think. I think it's going to be a lot cheaper in materials than I thought. because poplar is one of the cheapest woods you can get. There's no exotic top. Like some of these tops up here, these are like, you know, $300 for some of them. Some of them, like the last one I did with the gold in it. I mean, just the gold alone was, you know, who knows how much. But yeah, we'll keep it simple and cheap. All right, I got the machine working again. Just making sure they're nice and even so I can glue them together. What am I doing here? Oh, I'm just joining the edges so they can be glued together. Planing them down to size. I think they're 1 7/8, I think. This step normally isn't done until the second day, because usually the first day I'm gluing tops on and we're skipping that step. So if we were to glue tops on, we could add easily at least another hour, because we have to process the tops and we have to make sure that all their veneers are on. We have a lot more gluing to do, a whole nother night of glue dry time and everything. But I'm just gonna dry clamp this together just to make sure that my joinery is good. Right up here at the top, let me show you. Right up here at the top, there is a gap. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this over to my table saw, and I have these pieces of sandpaper here, and then I just run it back and forth, kind of like that, and that'll true them up. So I'll go ahead and do that next. I'm not gonna film it, I'm just gonna do it for both tops, because that one probably has the same issue. Yeah, it is nice and easy clamping up guitars that don't have tops on them. Adding tops actually adds probably 2 or 3 hours, I would say. Here I'm just bringing my necks down to just over, 5/8. Changing my bandsaw blade, putting in the 3/4 inch blade so I can cut my scarf joints on those necks. Here I'm just laying out for the scarf joints. And then just cutting the scarf joints right there on the bandsaw. Since the bandsaw doesn't do a great job, I have to sand them to make sure that everything's even. And I'm already gluing the scarf joints together at 22 minutes into the build, which is way sooner than I thought it would be, unless that's 123 minutes. I don't know. Here I'm getting ready to slot my fingerboards. I had to process the boards first, get them down to 280 thousandths. Tape them, glue them, double stick tape them to the jig, put them in the jig, slot each board. There was 2 boards. All right, so without counting the cleanup time, which I still have to do, we're pretty much done with day 1. I've got 2 fretboards slotted. These are rosewood, and they were only $10 a piece. So very affordable. Thing is, I didn't have a matching peg head veneer. Like, I didn't have any ebony that was long enough. So instead of ebony, I'm going to use more rosewood. But I didn't have any more pieces of rosewood that were wide enough and long enough to match this. So what I did is I took 2 of these rosewood boards that were matching, and I glued them together. So that's going to glue overnight. And then I can cut those into peg head veneers. I could do that tomorrow. So pretty much right now, everything's in clamps. Got the bodies clamped up. The necks are clamped up, the scarf joints. Tomorrow, we can glue the peg head veneers after we process them. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I could keep going if I really wanted to do the control cavity covers, but I think I could do that either tomorrow or the next day. But anyway, that is the end of day 1. let's get our time here. That's, what is that, 192 minutes. So 3 hours and 13 minutes on the first day. And we got a lot of progress done in the first day for just 3 hours. See you tomorrow. All right, it's day 2, and I forgot to turn the stopwatch off, so we'll start it up. I'm getting a late start today. I went to the Denver Gem and Mineral Show. Well, it was actually in Aurora. I went to that this morning. Picked up a bunch of meteorites and stuff. That'll be on the website. But I was thinking about this last night, and I think I have a better idea than the rosewood peghead veneers. I think a piece of zirconia would be cooler. We'll try to get some of that yellow sapwood in there. If we can, that would be awesome. And I think I can get 2 peghead veneers out of this one piece. I totally forgot I even had this there, and it's kind of useless for anything else. So it's too short to be a fingerboard. I think we'll do that. Today we can unclamp all this stuff and process it, glue on the peghead veneers, process the bodies, and probably lay them out. All right, here we go. Unclamping the scarf joints. Those need to be cleaned up on the edge sander. That way it can have a nice clean surface to glue the peghead veneers onto. So here I'm just laying out the peghead veneers, cutting them, making sure that they fit on there. Gluing them up, putting a veneer in between. And then I clamp those together. So they're clamping against each other, and that's another night of drying. Here I am just cleaning up the glue joints so I could run it through my sander, even it all up, trace out the body here, drill the holes, cut it out on the bandsaw, roughly. And here I, just using my router table, doing the perimeter. Right there, I blow up the one horn on it, blew up. Coming around those corners right there, that is very, very scary. See, it blew up. Those corners blow up. That's so annoying when that happens. But I fix it here. I'll show you how I fix it. So basically, I had to flip it around and yeah, there I'm epoxying that blow up. Not fun when that happens. All right, we are 288 minutes into this build, and we had our first major disaster. Actually, it's not that major. Just I blew out the corner here. And so I just made a little dam with tape, and then I filled it with epoxy. Now, I mean, I could go back over here and try to clean it up with the router, but instead, I'm just gonna clean it up here on the sander. But yeah, that could have been pretty major if this was not a flat black instrument. Any other situation probably would have had to make some firewood here. But I know how to prevent this problem in the future. Instead of coming around with the blade this way, I have to flip it over, have the bearing right on the bottom, and run it over it the opposite way. So there we go. Now I have the shape back that it's supposed to have. And then I can just clean it up with my DA sander. And we still have, by the way, we have to round these edges over anyway. So a lot of that's going to disappear. So I'm just messing around with easel here for my CNC machine. I want to make a Bitcoin logo and have it on the Bitcoin guitar. So all I did is I just imported an SVG of the Bitcoin logo. I'm going to cut inside the shape path on some wood, and it's just going to cut it out, and it's going to make a nice stencil. Because right now, all I have is pretty much this. I mean, yeah, I can cut it out with like a X-Acto knife and make it perfect and then spray it. But then it's only good for like 1 or 2 uses. But if I do it on the CNC machine with a piece of scrap wood, then I'll have it forever. All right, we're at 323 minutes, and I've got the Bitcoin logo stencil cut out of this piece of plywood, but I think that's about the position on the guitar where it's gonna go. All right, it's day 3. We are at 323 minutes. We've got both bodies, perimeters, and control cavities drilled, and everything's routed. As far as perimeters go, I have to unclamp the peg head veneers today. We can start processing necks, probably route truss rods, cut the necks out, glue fingerboards tonight. I can route cavities here. I could probably do some roundovers and comfort carves, stuff like that. I do have some template work to do. I have to change these holes for the hip shot bridge. I have to move them back just a little bit, or I have to move them forward a little bit for the 24 3/4 inch scale length. All right, so I took everything over to the drill press, did all my holes for the bridge, and that's for the volume knob. These are for the neck or the string ferrules. Here I'm laying it out for the neck and pickup routing template there. I had to build that template, by the way. That's I had to update the old one because it was a little too big, so I made a new one for the lace pickup to make it fit better. But yeah, doing these routes is it's a process without having a pin router. I'm just laying out the control cavities now. Doing the main cavity first, and then the control cavity cover route last. There it is. Not too bad. All right, another 39 minutes. I think we're at 439 minutes or 539 minutes. I'll have to go through the footage and see. Either way, we've got our neck pocket, our pickups, and our control cavities all routed. And when I laid these down, I noticed that they're somehow just very satisfyingly, they just fit together like that. I thought that was pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna go to lunch. I started at 9 and it's 1 o'clock, so that's another 4 hours. I did have to do a little bit of template tweaking, like because I'm putting in some lace pickups in these things. And I noticed on one of these guitars here that I made, the lace pickup, okay, that's the lace pickup. I wanted to make the pickup route a little bit tighter. So there we go. And all right, I'm gonna go to lunch and come back and we can continue working. Right, back from lunch. Here I am doing the roundovers or the bevels around each instrument. I'm working really fast here. Oh, I'm making the control cavity covers out of a piece of wood for each instrument. Unclamping the peg head veneers. Those will need to be cleaned up on the edge sander. And then ran over the jointer. I don't think I showed that part. Here I'm laying out the headstocks and the necks. Routing the truss rod slots. I do that on my router table. And then for the top part of the truss rod, I do it this way because it's a different depth and shape up there past the nut. Here I'm laying out the fingerboards, cutting them out roughly. Just drilling the pilot holes for the tuners, drilling the tuners all the way through. And then I'll take those peg heads to 5/8 of an inch on the bandsaw. I don't think I showed that part, or maybe I do it here. I'm just cutting out the necks and the peg heads. So they're both pretty much the same. So now I need to profile the neck, profile it exactly to the shape over here at the router table. Basically, I'm gonna attach the template, hold it upside down like this, run it along the bearing, and then this neck will be the exact profile. And then after that, glue the fingerboards, put the truss rods in, glue the fingerboards on, and then we're done for the night. I think we did pretty good. We got, we're at 679 minutes total for, this is day 3. This is pretty good for day 3. We still have a couple more days to go, but I'll go ahead and knock this out and have an early night tonight. All right, there we go. Just clamping that on there, drilling it, gluing it down with the truss rods in it, clamp both necks together. Tomorrow we can actually start carving necks, and then once the necks are carved, then we can start finish sanding, and we can start fret work as well. Yeah, we did pretty good today. We got all the roundovers done, all the cavities and everything routed, all the holes drilled, the bevels, the control cavity covers. So they're pretty much twins. They're from the same log and everything. Right now we're at 745 minutes. All right, good morning, day 4. So we'll be unclamping these. We can do that right now. We can start carving necks and fretting. Actually, I got to do comfort carves here. But basically, I could sand this thing. I could just take a big hunk out of it there, and then this whole piece here gets sanded down like that for both of them. Something like this. Yeah, these control cavity plates are a little bit high, so I just run them through this, and then it makes them perfectly flat. I'm enjoying doing these time lapses for this entire process without having to talk while doing it. I could focus on the work and I can listen to music. All right, here we are. We are bringing the fingerboards down to the same profile as the necks themselves, radiusing the fingerboards there roughly on the edge sander, running the bodies through. Here I'm doing the comfort carves on the back and front of the bodies there on the edge sander. Fitting necks, carving necks. Wish I could do it that fast in real life, but I can't. This is finish sanding. Or no, what am I doing there? Side dots. Here's fret work. And then I decided to get my CNC machine carving logos while I was doing frets on the other neck. So it takes a while to set up that CNC machine, but I mean, that thing is great. It takes, once it's set up, then it takes about 45 minutes to actually carve the logo, but it can do a way better job than I can do by hand. I used to do them by hand, and that CNC machine does it perfect every time. So I let the CNC machine do it. I'm just polishing the frets. After making a nice mess here, I've got the first neck fretted, and we're at 992 minutes. So while I was fretting this thing, I decided to just have the CNC machine running and carve the logo. So now I can take the logo and pop it in there. I mean, I could wait till I take it out of there, but I'm impatient. There we go. All right, now I'm just gonna unscrew that, screw this one in, hit start, and we can start fretting this one. Yeah, this CNC machine, again, is awesome, but it does take a while to set up. Like right here, I have it like tracing the logo that I have sitting on top of it to make sure that it's gonna carve in the right area, and then I have to adjust it. But yeah, you can see right there, it takes a while with the timer going. 1,065 minutes. So we have both necks completely done and ready for finish sanding. All I have to do is epoxy in these logos, and that only takes a minute. The bodies, they still need to be finish sanded, but everything else is done on them. All right, now we're doing some finish sanding. This takes a long time. All right, it is late. It is the end of night 4, or day 4. I've got both guitars sanded out to 150. Actually, I gotta sand these guys out to 150 and then 120 as well. I had a few little voids and pits around the logos. After I sanded them off, the epoxy didn't fill every little gap, so I filled those in with some gap filling super glue, and I'm just gonna let those dry overnight. But we're at 1,120 minutes right there. I'm trying to keep track of what I'm doing. Even, you know, tomorrow, start finish sanding, start with 150 on the necks, round over the sharp corners, make sure to drill the neck ferrules. We're getting there, and tomorrow we will definitely be in finish. And yeah, finish is pretty straightforward. So anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, it is day 5, and I'm actually pretty surprised that I was able to get these done as fast as I did. Just started the timer now. We're at 1,121 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and finish sanding these and then get these necks on sticks like I have all this stuff here, and then we can get into finishing. All right, here we are. I'm filling the fret ends. Pretty much also getting them on sticks and doing some finish sanding. Yeah, here we are installing the magnets for the wooden control cavity covers. And we're doing some stain, all black. This is where it happens. All right, we are at, what is it? 1,230 minutes. How many hours is 1,230 minutes?
1,230 minutes is 20 hours and 30 minutes.
So we're at 20 hours and we are in finish. No more sanding needed, but everything is now color, and I didn't put any color on the necks. I'm gonna leave those natural. I think they look good just like that. So the next step is I'm gonna let these dry a bit, because if I tried putting on the clear penetrating epoxy sealer right now, it would just smear the black, or it would go on there, but it would smear it around a little bit more than I want. We have a nice even coat right now, so I'm just gonna let it dry for maybe a couple hours, and then I'll come back probably tonight. I didn't eat lunch yet, so I'm gonna go get lunch and everything. And then maybe later on tonight, I'll come in and get that first coat of clear penetrating epoxy sealer on there. And we should be spraying tomorrow. All right, I'm just doing a little bit of testing here with the stencil on a scrap piece here, and I think it's gonna look good. So I have the guitar set up over here. I think I'm gonna go with the original idea and have the Bitcoin logo over in this area. Right about there. Is that gonna overlap the bridge? It shouldn't. Should be good right about there. I'm gonna cover up the rest of this to make sure I don't have any overspray. All right, it's starting to get windy out, but I think I got it just in between drafts here. I better do this with 2 hands. I don't want anything happening. Oh yeah, that looks pretty darn, it's exactly what I imagined. So that is perfect. This is the one that's going to be given away, and this is the one that can be purchased for Bitcoin on kleshguitars.com. Also on the back of the headstock for the Bitcoin guitar, I also wrote the word Bitcoin there. Serial number 25. All right. Right now, I just gotta, I can start spraying. All I need to do is wait for that to dry. So in the meantime, I'm gonna start setting up to start spraying. And I don't know how much of that I'm gonna film. It doesn't really matter. There's not much to see. It's just I have gloves on and a mask and everything, and messing with my phone is never an easy task. So I'll probably just skip that and I'll let you know how much time it took. All right, I've got my first coat on and it's going good. Let me show you guys what it looks like. So the first coat is never good. You should never expect it to be good. As you can see, you can still see the wood grain and you can see little boogers and all kinds of stuff in there. That all comes off after the first scuff sanding. And the second coat is usually, it's always probably 90% smoother looking than this. And then sometimes the third coat is the final coat. But usually it's like the fourth coat, which is the final coat. So I didn't even look at the necks yet. I'm kind of looking at the light, the way it hits it. That actually looks really good for a first coat. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and wait about 2 hours. We'll come back, scuff sand, and then shoot our second coat. Oh yeah, we are at 1,326 minutes. All right, here's the second coat. And you can see it's much smoother. Like I said, about 90% better than the first coat. And that's just scuffing it by hand with a sanding sponge. And there's a blemish on this one, and that's my fault. I'm an idiot. I clamped it in the vise, and there's this little piece of leather that I missed. And when I clamped it down, that piece of leather dug right into the front of this. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that. But everything else looks pretty good with normal level sanding. That logo turned out pretty good, the Bitcoin logo. All right, this will be my third coat, so I gotta sand everything and then start finishing. It takes about an hour to sand everything and then spray everything. Yeah, man, we are finished with finish, and we are at 1,430 minutes. So I'm gonna write that down, 1,430 minutes. All right, I've got it written down. And tomorrow, day 6, is gonna be assembly and setup. I thought I wouldn't have these things finished until tomorrow. So I'm a day ahead. I think we'll have these things done tomorrow. I don't like a shiny finish. I buy a flat finish on purpose. Some people like shiny, and I just don't. I even go as far as taking a sanding sponge after they're finished and nice and hard, and I'll go over the necks to make sure that they're not shiny at all, so they're super smooth. All right, good morning. It is day 6. I could totally have these things done today, but the pickups did not even ship yet. I ordered them last week, but they didn't ship. So we can pretty much do everything except for install the pickups. So that means we can put the necks in, and we can make sure our neck angles are correct. We can install the ferrules in the back. We can line this with shielding. We can drill our cavity holes and everything, and our bridge ground. What else? I can install the tuners. We'll do what we can, but we're not going to be able to finish them today. Maybe not even this week, because like I said, they didn't even ship yet. This is installing the copper shielding in the control cavities. This is a process in itself. It's got to be perfect, nice and neat looking, no wrinkles, and that stuff is incredibly sticky. So yeah, what am I doing here? Just putting the necks on, installing the bridges, putting the bridges on, drilling the bridge ground and installing all that stuff. More finish sanding. Oh no, this I'm aiming the necks, making sure that the necks are aimed correctly. Just touching up the heels there. Necks are on. All right, we're at the end of day 6. We are at 1,764 minutes. And I had to go back and fix some things. I had to, there was a blemish on the back of this one. I had to respray, but these things are now completed. 2 VK-6s. And right now I'm just kind of waiting on hardware, electronics and stuff. I'm waiting for the pickups and these things. I'm waiting for some special, I ordered a opaque orange piece of acrylic that I'm going to try to use as a nut for this. So I'm going to have an orange nut. I bought some orange, special orange strings for it. The pickup's going to be orange, and I got an orange knob coming for it as well. And this one here is just going to be all blacked out pretty much. So yeah, man, just waiting on parts.
1,764 minutes is 29 hours and 24 minutes.
So it's about 30 hours for 2 of them. Now, if I was to build just one of them, I think it would still be in the 20 to 25 hour range. The reason being is because when I set up, like say I set up the router, setting the thing up takes the most time, and then running the wood over it only takes a fraction of the time. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. So now we're going to go through all the costs of everything, including my hourly rate, all my wood, and I have it up here on screen. So we'll just go to that. So the cheapest possible guitar build for this month, April 2024. This is based on a 6-string guitar, poplar body, maple neck, rosewood board. A single lace pickup, so we're only going by 1 pickup. Hip shot hardware, and I'm not going to skimp on pickups or hardware because, I mean, that's what makes the instrument really good. If you have cheaper electronics or hardware, it really takes away from the quality, especially for a handmade instrument like this. We're gonna price in the catalyzed urethane finish because, first of all, it's the most durable. It's not the cheapest, but it's definitely the most durable. And then also for these cheaper instruments, they have to be a solid color or natural wood. And in both cases, the catalyzed urethane is gonna work better, especially for the, you know, like an all black guitar like this one back here that we finished. If you tried putting a cheap oil finish on that, it's gonna smear all over the place. It's gonna bleed through. It's just, trust me, catalyzed urethane finish is the way to go on this. Maybe a nitrocellulose, but then if I was to do a nitrocellulose finish, we're adding in at least 12 more man hours, and I'm calling my hourly rate $50 an hour, and that's an extra 500 bucks tacked on. So trust me, this is the best way. This is based on no exotic top and a solid color. And like I just said, it took about 1,500 minutes for a single guitar, or 25 hours, right? And at $50 per hour, that's $1,250 labor. Now I think that $50 per hour is actually pretty fair. Around here where I live, just to work at McDonald's, it's like a starting rate of $25 an hour at McDonald's. And, you know, when I was a teenager, I could have made that, but I've gone to school for many years. I've apprenticed all over the place. I think 50 bucks an hour is pretty fair for what I do. All right, so here's the actual costs. I'm gonna spare you like the details, but we'll just go through it. You can read it if you want. PHV means peghead veneer, by the way. The wood total, it's about $75 per guitar. Hardware, electronics, and parts, about $600. Other hardware and electronics, that means the output jack, the plate, the knob, the side dots, which are pearl, the shielding, the copper shielding on the inside of the control cavity. I forgot to write magnets down, but the magnets, the pots, the wire screws, nut material, all that small stuff. I'm just calling it 30 bucks. It's probably a little more than that, but I'll just round it to about 30. Expendables. So that's like the finish itself, which is very expensive. Glues like super glue, tape, sandpaper, which is also very expensive. The little containers for finish. All that stuff is about $100 for the raw materials there. Now the hand tools, bits, blades, moving parts. So these are like expendable tools that'll probably wear out within 50 guitars of building. You can read it there, but pretty much it's just like blades and stuff like that, and like special sandpaper and files. I took all those numbers, I added together and divided it by 50 for 50 guitars, and we're at like $35 for that. Hand tools and jigs. This is like unlimited usage divided by 500. It's based on like 10 years building 5 instruments per month. So this is like my rulers, my straight edge, radius blocks, fret leveling bars, stuff that'll like never wear down. Actually, the sanders and stuff might, but whatever. We're just calling it $4 added to each instrument. Next, we have power tools. This is like unlimited usage, the same thing as before, based on 10 years of usage. We add up all these different tools. It's a pretty big number, but after we divide it by 500, we get to $34 tacked on to each instrument. So utilities, electric per month for my shop is about $150 a month. Divide that by 5 for 5 instruments per month, and we get $30. And by the way, the electric for this shop is quite important. I need the light, and I need, the reason it's so expensive is because of my climate control system in here, and that's pretty much constantly running. So the grand total before labor is about $938 per instrument before labor. So at $50 per hour or $1,250 in labor after 25 hours per guitar, the cost to the customer is about $2,188. So I think the cheapest fair price for customers before tax and shipping should be around $2,200 US. That's the answer right there, $2,200. But then if we added an exotic top, on average about $200 for a top, and then 3 more hours of labor for that, we'd be up to $2,550. And then I did not add in like template work. So if we were to add in template and design work, you could easily double the hourly rate. So we'd be at $100 an hour. But I'm not going to do that. I think a lot of that just comes with the territory. As far as, you know, if you want to be a guitar maker, you got to put the work in. You have to come up with the designs, and, you know, it's kind of like the price to pay to do what you enjoy doing for a living. So there's that. Also, the shop construction, because I pretty much built this place from the ground up. All the construction time and materials and all that. You know, going to the lumberyard, all the deliveries and all that stuff. Using my truck, the wear and tear of my truck, the mortgage to pay for this place, because I bought this place and I'm still paying mortgage on it. So there's that. We're not going to add any of that in. And this isn't really an extensive list either. We're not counting, like, I just walked around my shop afterwards and I found a lot of things that I didn't even add in, like, you know, smaller tools like my soldering gun and like my vise and my downdraft table and building it all and all the, you know, I didn't count any of that, but I think the number I came up with, that $2,200 for a base price instrument, is pretty darn fair, considering for the same price you can get, like, you know, what's $2,200 like a Jackson Soloist. I think they're even more expensive than that, and they're not even handmade. It's cheaper than a Les Paul, right? It's cheaper than like a Fender Strat. It's cheaper than a lot of things, and it's a handmade guitar. So anyway, the part that you guys are waiting for, we're gonna give this thing away to somebody watching this video, and then the Bitcoin guitar, once that's finished, by the time you're watching this, it'll be done. That'll be for sale on kleshguitars.com. You could purchase it with Bitcoin only. I'm only taking Bitcoin for that one. So for this guitar, I'll be giving it away. All you need to do, and I will explain the details of the giveaway right now, because you've watched this much of the video. Why not just save you the time of reading the description? I'll just tell you what to do and what not to do. So if you want to win this guitar, leave a comment. It can't be spam. You can't have 2 comments in a row, because that would be considered spam and you won't even get picked by the picker. So just be sure to not comment twice in a row. As a matter of fact, I would suggest waiting about 3 or 4, maybe 5 comments in between yours. That way, in case somebody else deletes their comment, then your comments would be together, and then you would be disqualified, even if you did wait for somebody else to comment after you, right? I would suggest, if you really want to win this, set a timer on your phone, or tell your Alexa to remind me every 20 minutes to comment on Klesh's video. That way, you know, you'll have the maximum amount of comments. And the reason I do this is for engagement, because when you leave comments and you hit the thumbs up button and you're subscribed, by the way, you have to hit the thumbs up button and you have to be subscribed to win. You have to be publicly subscribed as well, because if I go through my subscription thing and it shows that you won, but I can't see your name on my subscription list, which means you're not publicly subscribed, then I'll just go to the next person. So make sure you're publicly subscribed. And I'm not sure how to do that. I think you have to go into your settings, or just do a Google search, how to be a public subscriber on YouTube, because I don't want to give this guitar to somebody that's not even subscribed to my channel. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you hit the like button, and make sure you're publicly subscribed. And I'm gonna pick a winner in about 2 weeks. So today is 4/20/2024. I'm gonna do the giveaway on May 4th, 2024. Now, I may not even be in Colorado at that time, but I will be picking a winner that day, and I'll post it on the community tab of this page on probably the 5th, so May 5th. So you'll have the whole day of the 4th to keep getting entries. On May 5th, that's when on the community tab of this page, I'll post the winner. And that's pretty much it. If I did miss anything, I will put it in the description, because that's going to be set in stone. What I say is probably not, I probably forgot something, is what I'm trying to say. For instance, if you're in the United States, I'll ship it to you for free. You don't have to pay anything. I'll ship it in the case to you for free. And if you're international and you're watching this and you win, basically you're going to have to pay for shipping and taxes and all that stuff. VAT, whatever. That's, you know, it could be pretty darn expensive too. So that's a warning. If you win it and you're international and you can't pay it, then at that point I'll probably just put it up for sale on kleshguitars.com. So if you see it on kleshguitars.com, it means that an international person won it but doesn't want to pay the shipping or something like that. So anyway, I know it's long-winded video. It's probably an hour long. I know I'm in the editing process, and right now I'm at 38 minutes, and yeah, with my talking here, it's probably another 20 minutes or whatever. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It helped me learn how much it costs to build one of these things and what my hourly rate should be, pretty much. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a comment every, I would say, 20 minutes, and good luck, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.